All right, now on your purple bookmark, again, if you don't have it, write this on a separate sheet of paper, figure it out. We're going to be writing down the two possible options for both essays. Now, you're not writing two different essays. You're not merging the ideas together. You're going to pick one, but we need to have ideas for both, okay? So on that bookmark, again, if you don't have it, you guys just write this on separate paper. On the bookmark itself, though, where it says prompt A, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the screen and look at where the blue arrow is, and then find it on your bookmark. We're going to be writing down some ideas for both options of the essay, all right? Now, prompt A is the compare and contrast version. So this is where you would compare our society to Jonas's, our society to his, okay? But what we're going to do to compare it is we're going to write down 3 features. This should sound unbelievably familiar to you because you've already done it. You already wrote a piece like this. Now you're just taking the idea and growing it, okay? So what I want you to do on your bookmark, if you don't have a bookmark on a separate piece of paper, write down that, 1, 2, and 3. And cut the paper. All right, now, you could use features of your own, but I wouldn't doubt that probably half of you would go, I don't know what direction to go with this thing. Okay, so that's why I'm here to help you out. Now, this screen has 6 different features that you could choose to compare our society to Jonas's. Now, you only have to pick 3. However, if you folks remember that piece that you wrote about 2 weeks ago, you could use those features again. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to reincorporate some information and just expand on it. So on your purple bookmark, please write down 3 out of those 6 options. Now, if you do choose the ones that are on the screen, I really doubt that you would be able to recall what the heck social interactions are. So the stuff in parentheses, you might need to abbreviate and copy that down too. So I'll give you a few moments here to write that info out. In about 20 seconds, that screen's going to go away. So what you should have are 3 features on your purple bookmark that you would use to explain what we have in common and what we have that's different in the society, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to that second possible prompt, okay? So maybe when you were doing the compare and contrast, it wasn't really sparking your interest. Maybe you think you're going to have trouble with that one. So there's also prompt B that you can choose. Prompt B falls right below on the purple bookmark, and we're going to do something very similar to it. Now, the second prompt, some of you might choose over the first because this one should be fresh in your memory. All those charts that we were working with in your groups, that's what prompt B is all about. So for this second option, this is where you explain challenges that Jonas faced. Not only made him someone else, but it also showed what the theme of the story was. So just like we did before, we're going to write down 3 items. And for prompt B, we've got to choose 3 trials or challenges or conflicts, whatever word you want to use, to explain how Jonas changed. So just as before, in the prompt B box, we're going to write the numbers 1 through 3. And just like before, I'm going to show you some options. So if you can't recall off the top of your head 3 challenges or trials that Jonas faced, well, here's a list. So when you're getting ready to write down these challenges, don't just randomly pick ones. Pick ones that you really know, that you can explain thoroughly from the novel. If you never got to that part in the book where Jonas watches a game of war, probably wouldn't choose that as something to write in my essay. Just saying. Okay? If you don't want to choose those, that's okay. What are 3 different challenges that Jonas faced? So take a couple moments to write down what would be 3 challenges that you could use to explain how Jonas changed and how it showed the theme of the story. The table. Go ahead and pass out those index cards so each one of you has one. Extras, you could leave them on the front. I think I counted out enough for everybody. Okay, what I want you to do is working on the line side first. And with the line side of your index card, I want you to go ahead and copy on that pink line, number 1, your name, and number 2, which prompt you're going to choose. If you can't remember which prompt is which, number 1, you take a look at that purple bookmark where you're writing ideas, or you need to listen in. Prompt A is where you compare and contrast our society with Jonas's. Prompt B is where you determine what challenges not only changed Jonas, but reveal the theme of the story. So that's the first thing. We're just writing our name and which prompt we think we're going to be able to write the best with. Yep. You should have written down which prompt you're going to choose from. All right, now the next part of your index card, it's going to look like a lot, but you only focus on one side or the other. So those of you that chose prompt A, you don't need to raise your hand or anything. But if you chose prompt A, you're going to follow what's in that blue box. So prompt A, folks, what you're going to do on this index card, just like you see in red, you're going to copy down your 3 features. Feature 1 is this. Feature 2 is this. And you've got the features already on that purple bookmark or that separate sheet of paper. Okay, after you copy down the 3 features that you'll use to explain your prompt, then you need to answer the question. It repeats 3 separate times. How does that feature work in Jonas's society? That's it. Okay, now those of you doing prompt B, you'll focus on the green box. Really similar to the blue one, there's just one major difference. Instead of writing down features, you're going to write down the 3 conflicts. Again, these are the conflicts you wrote on your purple bookmark. Not only that, you also need to write down how exactly did the conflict change Jonas, our hero. Okay, if you don't know what to do, put your hand up. But I'm going to give you folks about, say, 5 minutes to not only just copy those features down that you've already written, but also do that very quick explanation of each one. All right, folks, we're going to be taking the opportunity for you to kind of share ideas with other people and maybe to gather some ideas from others as well. So this is what I'm going to ask you to do. There's no point talking to someone who's not working with the same prompt as you. That would really be pointless. So what I'm going to have you folks do is working in 2 different sections. I'll tell you where you're going to be going in a bit. When you get to one side of the room, everybody in that chunk is working on the exact same prompt as you. So once you get to an opposite side of the room, find someone to speak with. All that you have to do is share your index cards. These are my 3 conflicts, or these are my 3 features, and this is how it was presented in the novel. If you hear something that you like, ask if you could borrow the idea and write it on your index card. If someone asks for your idea, be gracious enough to go ahead and say, sure, you can use it, that's fine. Because there are some people that are going to struggle with this. Okay, but that's only if you're willing to share it. So, you're only going to have the opportunity to speak to 3 different people. And you're only going to get 1 minute to speak to each person. That's it. This is the only time we're going to be able to talk with folks. So now you probably want to know where you're going. So if you're prompt A, you're over here. You're prompt C, you're going to be on that side of the room. So get yourself over there, find a partner. Your first minute starts now. Okay, I'm going to need your attention. About 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. So what you now have is essentially a breakdown of 3 body paragraphs. You wrote down, whether you're writing features or conflicts, the main idea of each of the body paragraphs. So what we got to start with now is your intro, and I'm going to walk you through step by step. So what I want you to do is go ahead and flip your note card over to the blank side. And just as you see on the screen at the very top, I want you to write down introduction. Now, you've written an introduction before, not only in this class, but in 7th grade and 6th grade. Now, on introductions for 8th grade English, you guys need to have 3 basic components. Watch the screen, copy what you see. Oh, I messed that up. Your components, they're on page 80 of your springboard. You might want to go to page 80 of your springboard. That just kind of depends on you and your preference. So those 3 components you folks have, number 1 is the hook. Go ahead and write that subheading. Leave yourself some space. Second part of the introduction is the bridge. Leave yourself some space. Final part is the thesis. Now I'm going to walk you through every single step. You've done this before, it shouldn't be hard, and you probably can whip through it really quick, especially with the hints I'm giving you, okay? Now, the first thing we're going to work on is a hook. I'm kind of sick of questions starting off essays. I want you to step away from that. So instead of you folks developing your own hook, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. Okay, now this screen has a series of sentence starters. All of that stuff, bottom half of the screen, big, bold, black ink, that's what I want you to use as a hook. But it's a starter. You have to finish it. So pick one of those starters that you can complete. Make it a complete thought. Okay, that piece up there is not a hook alone. You have to finish it. So I want you to pick one of those starters, complete the entire sentence, and that will be your hook for this particular essay. If you're not sure what to do, just put your hand up. I'll help you out. Baby, that's what the bridge is for. If you want to do one of your own, you can. I'm here just to 1 second. Page 80 was where all that stuff is. I'm going to check everybody at the end of class period. I collect them, I look at them. I want you to get this done. Okay, take about 30 more seconds to wrap up this hook. Okay, now our next step is going to be the bridge. Okay, you folks should have a hook written down. Now the bridge, how exactly does your hook apply to the giver, the novel? How does it apply to Jonas specifically? So if you talked about this idea of life cannot be fully lived until, how exactly does that play into the novel? So again, for your bridge, explain to me how the hook really applies to the novel. And that'll be your bridge. Okay, now last part is the thesis. So you folks should have a hook written down. You should have your bridge. Now for your thesis, I'm going to be providing you a sentence frame for each prompt. So if you have prompt A, you're going to get a different frame for a thesis than if you have prompt B. So I'm giving you a big handout here. You're just responsible for filling in the info as it applies to you. Okay? Now with the thesis statement, if you're prompt A, you're looking at the left-hand side of the screen. Here is your thesis. You would copy what's in black, but you insert the proper wording for novel title and the 3 features. Okay? If you're prompt B, you're looking in the green box. There's your prompt, not prompt, there's your thesis frame. Again, you copy what's in black. What's in purple, though, you have to insert the appropriate information. This is the last component that you need to have a good working introduction for now.